Welcome once again to another Chef Knives to Go Quick Look product review. I'm Steve Gamache, and what we have is the Misuzu SKS93 Ko or small Bunka 100mm knife. So this knife is composed of 3 layers, and the hard core steel is known as SKS93 reactive carbon steel. Heat treats around 60, maybe 61 Rockwell on it. The construction does have stainless cladding on both sides of that, and I just cut my finger on a Masakage Koishi Tsujihiki. Was it sharp? Yes. So ignore the band-aid. Not a deep cut, just kind of an angled slice. And but it's bleeding, so I got it covered up. So these have clearly you can see the cladding coming down to the core. That's the core steel. And I think the cladding looks like it does cover the spine as well. But really cool little blades. So they should be pretty similar to one another, dimensions and weights, but they could vary a little bit. But this one's 51 grams or 1.8 ounces. Edge length's right at 100, so just about 4 inches. And the overall length's about 210 or 8¼ inches. The knives are thin, so I measure the spine about, let's just say 1.7. It varies just a touch throughout the top, but you've got this reverse sword kind of tanto tip on there. And then you got the grind. So the tip's not like super skinny on these. Not a lot of room to do the grind. But they're just a mini version of that standard Bunka, which is an extremely handy knife. So this is just a little smaller version of that. So equally as handy. You've got blade height that's pretty generous at 34 millimeters. The handle's just real basic oval hoe wood with a plastic sleeved ferrule on it. You've got a pretty big difference in diameter there, so you've got this big shelf here. I suppose you could sand that down and kind of blend it in a little if you wanted to with a little tape around there, like painter's tape or something, or even cellophane tape or something around there. Circumference is about 66 millimeters right here, and again, I think I said it's oval. The you do have a spot there for your finger for a pinch grip, pardon the band-aid, but you got a spot there to put it there. I wouldn't say it's really a big board type thing, although you do have a little bit of clearance if you're really careful. But it's small enough you could use it as a petty. You could do some maybe pairing duties with it. You can like hull strawberries with it. You can hook your finger back here and then get to the tip and do some tip work. It's a little tall maybe for pairing work, but it's a pretty versatile little blade. And I'd say it had about a 5 out of 10 out of the box edge, but this will get nice and sharp for you, and it's easy to sharpen. The blade's pretty stiff, so it's a handy little kind of cool, fun, unusual looking knife. I know it looks cooler on the other side, but I'm left-handed, so I'm going to do it this way. But there's your cutting board profile. So this would be cool for small stuff. It'd be great for just little garnish work or small items. It actually will do very nice on the tip draws as well. So it would work well for that. But just a neat little knife. It's a thin blade, and they kind of punch in or emboss, press in the kanji and symbol and stuff, so that will tend to kind of go into the other side and kind of push it over a little bit. So you'll see that. That's normal for these, because they're pretty thin blades. But just a neat little package to them. And fit and finish, they put a little relief on the corners of the spine, and they kind of leave the edges a little sharp here, so if you wanted to touch those up with some emery strips or some strips of sandpaper, like a shoe shine motion back and forth, you could certainly do that and clean that up just a little bit. But really cool little interesting knife. It's easy to sharpen, and it's got a fairly flat profile, so it makes it even easier to sharpen. Doesn't have a big curvy tip on it. So anyway, this is a cool little interesting utility knife. So this is the Misuzu SKS93 Ko Bunka 100mm knife.